We are now witnessing a new round of direct military confrontation between Israel and its enemies. We are talking about an escalation after Israel's operations aimed at destroying the leaders of terrorist movements, as they are called in Israel, Hezbollah and Hamas. In both cases, Israel achieved its goals.
В обидвох випадках Ізраїль досяг своїх цілей. От, зокрема, вчора було підтверджено також представниками армії оборони Ізраїлю знищення, ліквідацію.
In particular, yesterday, representatives of the Israeli Defense Forces confirmed the elimination of the commander of the military wing of Hamas, Mohammed Deif, who was killed on July 13th as a result of an airstrike. In recent days, Israel has also conducted a number of other operations. One of the leaders of Hezbollah was killed in Beirut, Lebanon.
Одного із лідерів Хезболли, а в районі Тегерану, в Ірані, також, як ми знаємо, внаслідок вибуху бомби вдалося ліквідувати голову.
In the area of Tehran in Iran, as we know, as a result of a bomb explosion, the head of the Hamas political bureau, Ismail Haniyeh, who was there during the inauguration ceremony of the newly elected president of Iran, was eliminated. After these operations, it is obvious that Israel has eliminated its enemies, and now there are threats from Iran's supreme religious leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Regarding the revenge operation against Israel. Any day now, we are actually expecting the main phase of this attack by Iran and its allies against Israel. At least, this is officially stated by the defense intelligence agencies of the United States of America, which are seriously considering such a threat. Meanwhile, the first phase of the attack against Israel actually began last night. Representatives of the Hezbollah movement fired on Israeli territory. The IDF, the Israeli army, returned fire on Lebanon, on Lebanese territory. The escalation occurred yesterday at about 10 p.m. The Western Galilee region was fired upon from Lebanese territory. Some of the rockets and shells were intercepted by the Israeli Air Defense Forces. People whose ammunition fell on open ground were not injured. There were allegedly no wounded or injured. As of yesterday evening, accordingly, Israeli artillery had already opened fire on the territory of southern Lebanon. 2 districts of Lebanon in the south were actively shelled by Israeli artillery. These are the events we are witnessing in the Middle East. All this, of course, threatens a negative development of the situation in terms of escalation in the area. We are now asking Igor Simovolis, director of the Center for Middle East Studies, about the threats that are emerging now and how this Middle East confrontation between Israel and its enemies may develop. Mr. Simovolis, we welcome you. Good morning, glory to Ukraine. Yes, good morning, glory to the hero. I am glad to see and hear you. So we are witnessing attacks by Hezbollah on Israel. The strikes were anticipated but are not the main phase of Iran's revenge operation. How much larger could this strike against Israel be? Previous similar events saw Israel successfully retaliate. Will it succeed again? Well, you know, generals are said to prepare for past wars based on the experience they have. And I think that the Iranians also rely on this experience and realize that a large-scale attack is certainly effective, but perhaps not very effective. Therefore, it is likely that they will change their tactics, deplete Israeli air defense, and operate mainly with drones and other means. Hoping that at some point they will be able to break through the defense. Therefore, I would probably, of course, this is just my guess, but I assume that there will not be a direct repetition of the strike we saw in April. Are you referring to a simultaneous massive strike, when in one day hundreds
Ви маєте на увазі одночасного масового удару, коли там блискавично за один
of
день
missiles.
сотні ракет летять, і Ізраїлю тоді...
Да. Тому що саме Ізраїль готовий до такої операції, американці готові.
Israel.
В даному випадку можуть тут допомогти абсолютно спокійно.
The Americans are prepared for such an operation, with the U.S. able to assist effectively. And this will be, so to speak, a demonstration of the success of the actions of the allies, yes, in this region. But maybe it doesn't have to be done in this way, but in a different way. You can launch the same mechanism of targeted killings as Israel does. And in general, I think that for Israel, before entering into a larger conflict, must be resolved for Iran to engage in a larger conflict. A number of issues within the country must be resolved. The first question that catches the eye and needs to be addressed is who exactly surrendered the location of Khania, and also how Iranian control and intelligence operated. What was the reason for the failure of this operation? At the very least, before the war starts, we need to understand what is happening here.
Перш ніж починати війну, треба розібратися з тим, що тут відбувається.